Well, hello and welcome back everyone for another episode of Space Engineers, now crash red ship on the moon scenario with pirates. And in the last episode, we pretty much built absolutely everything we needed that was critical to our survival at least. So we've got our control seat, we've got some power, we have a couple of containers, a small and a large, we have a med bay, and if we have a look underneath here, tucked away, I've got an oxygen generator, an assembler, and a refinery. And here is our small reactor. So we've made quite a good lot of progress here. And I hit my tab key and bring that back up. I wanted to check my trash removal settings. I was going to do it off camera, but for those of you who aren't that too familiar with it, what you do is if you're hosting a game, so you have to be the host of the game to do this, or have admin permissions. So you hit Alt F10, and we'll go to trash removal. And so you've got fixed stations, stationary, linearly moving, accelerating, powered, controlled, with production. So we've got removal objects. So if it's unpowered, where is it? Yeah, if it's unpowered, it may. Yeah, say powered. Okay, and that's not selected. But if it's unpowered and you get more than 500 meters away from the object, the trash removal can get rid of that for you. So if you don't want it to be too brutal, and you'll see this in Splitsy's videos as well, you can change that to 1,000. Okay, so we can leave it like that. I think I'm happy with that. And no. Wait, how do you say? Oh yeah, submit changes. Okay, so now I can get out of that. Hit escape. Now the other thing you can do, the other thing you can do is go over to the object, and since this is owned by nobody, we'll make sure, doubly sure, that it doesn't get deleted. Now you can only do this with functional blocks, unfortunately, but just go up, Control A to select everything, and then take ownership. Yes. And also, another thing I wanted to mention is factions. I don't want to be a first colonist, so I'm just going to leave. Yeah, I'm going to leave. I'm going to make my own. So I'm going to create and call ourselves, I don't know, what's a good name? I used to go for Biscuit Mining Company, but I want to do something different. How about we just think about it, and I'll wait for any suggestions that I may get. Hopefully I'll get some good suggestions. So yeah, we can continue with grinding down the ship. And I think what we want to start thinking about is probably I probably want to think about a mining ship, to be honest. Now to do that, I'm probably going to want to extend this platform out a little bit more, and then start thinking about making some enclosed areas. So the first thing we want to do is grind down some more steel plates and pick up these ones that I left behind. So the less the more I can grind down, I don't want to go building too much too quickly. And the reason for that is because the more blocks that are in your immediate vicinity, the more work your PC is going to have to do, particularly your CPU. So, oh god, it's doing that. Okay. So this, grind down some of this to give us an idea. There we go, because they were deformed. So get rid of all these. So the more blocks we get rid of, the better. My CPU is quite good for this game. My CPU has quite large cores at about 3.2 gigahertz. And to a point, this game now has multi-core support, but it's very limited multi-core support. If you have an 8-core computer, it's not going to use probably any more than about 2 of them. So yeah, even the people, I know plenty of people who they're like, oh, I've got 8 cores, my computer's great. Yeah, but it's like 2.8 gigahertz, and you're really going to suffer. And then meanwhile, you got someone like me who's got a 3.2 quad core, and this game doesn't really seem to phase it too much.
Energy low.
Let's get rid of these blocks. So yeah, if you've got nice big cores, this game shouldn't be too much of a hassle for your computer to handle. Alright, so we'll go get a energy top up. And we were low on oxygen as well. Okay. So we hit 4 and go to our pretty green. Hit Shift P just to make sure we don't get those funny lines across the same coloured blocks. And let's see. Whoops. Can we squeeze you in there? We can. Oops. So 2 lines should do it for now. Well, maybe 3. We'll do 3. So kind of expand as we need. There we go. Doing some more welding, which is always fun. So weld. Now, a lot of YouTubers would cut this part. I'm not going to be so kind. I have to sit through it. You can sit through it too. You can see what we have to suffer through. It's not, honestly, it's not that bad. I mean, this shouldn't take more than a couple of, like, I don't know, a couple of minutes tops. More like a minute and a half. That's why I tend to do little sections at a time. Okay, so we need to go grind some more. Okay, so take off these bits. So, yeah. I mean, I was speaking to my daughter who was saying, oh, you know, I just want to play creative. And I was mortified. I'm going to be honest, I was mortified. I'm like, no daughter of mine is going to be a creative player. Look, each to their own, but every single creative creation I have seen on the workshop, you are completely useless when you port them into survival. And you know, us survival nuts, we like to test ourselves, and you really can't test it too well. You can't test things too well, except in terms of physics and maneuvering and all that sort of thing. You can't test it that well in creative. You can test to see if you've got enough lift and if you've got enough gyroscopes, things like that. The main one, you can't really test plumbing. Like, you can almost guarantee that the plumbing has been fucked up somehow. It's almost always the case. So, yeah. I don't know. I just don't think you can really learn to appreciate this game until you've tested yourself out in survival mode. And I almost exclusively play survival. I told my daughter straight out, no, I don't play creative, sorry. I mean, you know, maybe for a bit of fun, there was that
Energy low.
bullet train that I've seen that guy make, and it's an awesome creation, don't get me wrong. Apparently it took him like 2 weeks just to make the tracks. Can you imagine if he did that in survival mode? He'd probably, you know, be on his deathbed finishing that. It would have literally taken him years in survival mode, I think. If not, probably a year if he had plenty of time. No, looks like we're gonna have to go top up. Okay. So we've just about done this platform extension. Need more steel plates, of course. Well, we'll go fill up on those. So the more we grind down, the better. Things considered, I mean, it's a good thing this ship is light blocks. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't take that long to grind down. So what we also want to do is I want to kind of make this base, or this outpost, kind of like a dome, kind of. So lots of glass. I love my glass. I love doing intricate things with glass. And it'll be a good opportunity, because some of my friends in particular, who can make some really awesome designs in their own right, have a real problem with working with glass for some reason. So maybe this will be a little bit of an instructional video for their sake as well. go. Done. So now it's come a long way, considering we started off with a 5x5. We've got quite a lot of area to work with. So now, look at this large container here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer everything in here, and I'm going to sort it. So we're going to start with steel plates, then interior plates. The steel plates in there. Then, what's the next most common thing? Construction components. Then motors. Then small steel tubes, large steel tubes. Let's see, computers. Actually, no, metal grids can probably come up the list too. Should probably put those there, and those there, and then those there. Right. So then displays, and then what's the next most common? Bulletproof glass. We'll leave those resources there. Then thruster components, reactor components, medical components. So now we'll make this our components container, and we'll make this our, well, components and tools, I guess. And we'll make this our ore container, or ingots rather. So we're going to pop that in there, pop that there. We'll put platinum last, iron first, nickel next, and that'll be fine. Okay. So now what we can go do is grab that uranium from out of the reactor here, and we'll pop it into the small reactor, so we don't need it anymore. Thank you, yoink. God, I hate how it's orange now. So you notice everything's off. Ions are off, everything's off in this ship. And that's okay, because we don't have a spawn point there, we don't have any way to recharge energy there. So we're ready to pop this into the reactor, which I've left a port handy here. So now we've got 30 uranium in there. That's not going to last us forever though. So what we want to think about doing is making some sort of solar tower. Solar tower with some batteries. So let's have a look around. So I want to fly straight up. And I want to see, the sun should be over there. I'm not sure if we should start building it yet. But what I can do is we'll strip down some more steel, and we'll start putting the framework down at least.
Energy low.
Of course it is. So it's usually a good idea to keep an eye on how the sun travels, so you can get the most efficient use out of your solar panels. Okay. Don't think I'm going to have enough energy to go for too much longer.
Energy critical.
So we're down to 9%, so I better go top up. Otherwise I'll start freezing to death. Alright, so here's what I want to do. I want to look at batteries. I've got to build these are for, only for small grid, and these are for small or large grid, excuse me. And the batteries do store quite a bit of power. They also take a bit of power when they need to recharge. But here's what I'm going to do with these. I'm making myself some fancy little pillars out of them. And that should give us about, well, what is it, one... Yeah, I could probably get like 4 or 5 batteries. Maybe even more. So I think I'll keep those the green colour. Because then what we can do is we can build blocks around them. Which will look kind of nifty. Alright, we'll crouch. And build those into the deck there. Oh, perfect. You know what? 4 batteries will do. That's all we really need for a small outpost. So 4 batteries, that'll do the job nicely. So next, think about a tower. Now to do that, I'm going to build from the back, so we can get a good idea of where that tower should lie. So I'll try and line it up here or here, should I? Well, I guess we're gonna have to build a wall back here, and it's gonna have to be a different color, so I don't want everything to be the same color. Let's see. Kind of boring. Let's actually do a funky purple. Yeah, that looks cool. Funky purple. Now we don't need to weld this up straight away. What we do need to do is get it above this crater ridge. And come to think of it, actually no, that's fine. Yeah, because what I want to do is have a means of running a conveyor tube up there. So if we need to, I can put some defences on this thing. Alright, so we don't need to go overly high, just high enough to get over this crater edge. So probably one more will do it. Okay. So then, I'm going to get some interior plates. So we'll start planning this out a bit. So we'll get some... Hello. Why didn't that come up? Probably because I wasn't close enough. That's why. So then we'll go to 2 and then hit... no, not 2. We'll hit 9. And we'll probably run it from there. And what we're going to do is space them out. Well, I'll space the first one out 6. So you want to leave at least 3 in between each one. Well, no, sorry. They need room of 3 for each. So if we want to put Gatling guns there, you want to space them out 2 each. But for the first one, I might do it from the top down. That's probably a much better idea. So we go 1, 2, good, 3, 4, and 5. That'll probably, yeah, that'll be the last one. Okay, so then go to tubes and just run tubes straight up. Yep, hello. Okay. Now those are attached. Still. That one isn't. So what we need to do is put a conveyor junction on top. Do we need a conveyor junction on top? We do, actually. Actually, no, we don't. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And then we need to put one there. Okay. So then we can grind this out. And then put conveyor junction there. 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 And there. We do the same again here. We're going to put one there, 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 and there. So this will be both a solar and defensive tower. Now I'm not sure if I'll be putting I'm not sure which way I'll be putting them, but it's not going to hurt because even with the conveyor junctions I don't use, I can put LCD screens over them and give it a bit of a funky look. But I do want to have some defences pointing all the way around. And as I said, I'm just putting up a framework, at least until we know which way the sun's going to go. Once we know which way the sun goes, we can get rid of the conveyor junctions we don't need. If we indeed want to do that. Okay, put you there, put you there, put you there, and even so, like I might end up, I don't know. I mean, there's a range of possibilities we can do with this thing. But yeah, it's it'll have a nice defensive tower slash tower of power. And I think... is that going to be our final one? Probably not. That's what we will do. Put a conveyor junction behind here. Hello? Run it there. Run a pipe that way. A tube. I've got a tube there. So that'll be all linked up. And I think that'll do it. Maybe not. We'll get rid of this. We'll put some there. And so conveyor 9. So these are for future plans. Okay. And now we can top up our energy. So now all we have to do is wait for the sun to come up. And we can go and do other things while we wait for that. But yeah, that's quite tall. Now that I'm looking at it from down here. Cool. Alright, well, thanks again for joining us, folks. I'm going to be leaving it there. And I hope you've enjoyed the episode, and I hope you learned something. And if you haven't, I hope you just enjoyed it for chilling out, I guess. But yeah, I hope to see you next time. But until then, as usual, bye for now.